everyone. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I am outside today because the weather is beautiful for a change. You know, it's been really hot for most of us, myself included. So I just wanted to get this reading out to you all. I'm a couple of days later than I intended to be just because of my schedule. So hopefully some of this resonates. Drop a comment and let me know how the weekly for the 30th and the 31st resonated. Since today is the 1st, I'll be dropping it here, but this will go through August 5th. So on the 30th, we had the moon in Sagittarius, trine Chiron in Aries. Then the moon entered Capricorn and trine Mercury and Mars in Virgo, and then Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. It sextiled Saturn in Pisces not long after it entered Capricorn, and then Uranus is square Lilith through the 2nd, which is tomorrow. So our desire to pursue meaningful experiences is enhanced by our efforts to heal the identity wound. That means that we're all seeming to, especially with the Sagittarius moon, we're looking for the new. We're looking for meaning from our experiences, and our efforts to pursue that, to manifest meaning, to gain that understanding is also helping us with the Chiron and Aries energy, where we are struggling to assert who we are, to learn self-assertion, individuality, and healthy self-regard. Some of us are integrating past experiences into useful wisdom, and others will be seeking out the new to see what foreign and unknown might teach us about the world and ourselves individually. Later, when the moon moves into cardinal Earth, which is Capricorn, we're grounding the new understanding into plans, action plans, and taking that action to create tangible results. There may be some unexpected material reward or opportunity as the moon trines Uranus. It'll also square Lilith though, so it could be in response to our efforts to stand in our own power, and of course might be accompanied with a square by some friction. Uranus square Lilith is a conscious rebellion against limitations to creative and authentic self-expression, to asserting your power, to taking actions and embodying the entirety of yourself, regardless of whether or not it's accepted by another person. It might be because we just can't take the bullshit anymore, though, that we choose to rebel. Understand that this transit brings complications, but not without the potential for reward. So between the Sag moon and Uranus and Lilith, restlessness and presumption would be high on the 30th, so do keep your eyes on your own paper. Channel the energy into physical activity if there's nothing practical you needed to handle. Otherwise, the best place to focus your energy with Mars in Virgo is refining your actions, making things more efficient, finding, organizing things, organizing your schedule, handling your budget, taking care of your body and your health and your fitness with Mars in Virgo. On the 31st, we had the Capricorn moon conjunct Pluto right before it moved out of the sign and trine Uranus. It also sextiled Neptune at the last degrees of Pisces, and this created a quincunx with the Venus retrograde, so a yod, because both the moon and Neptune and Pisces were quincunx the same planet. Venus retrograde, quincunx Neptune and Pisces. And then we had the moon enter Aquarius on the 31st. So emotions intensified. Our priority would have been the pursuit of goals and social capital. With the trine to Uranus and Taurus, though, we'd be feeling our way towards new foundations with an eye on authenticity. So yes, we're trying to gain security and stability, but we're trying to align our lifestyles in a way that fits, that resonates, that feels subjective and fitting for you as an individual, who you are learning yourself to be through that Chiron and Aries energy and the planets in Leo, the Sun and Venus retrograde. So emotions intensify, and our priority is the pursuit of goals, social capital. We'd be feeling our way towards new foundations. Pluto is in the mix, digging up systems and hierarchies that no longer serve or are literally harmful. So we're likely to be triggered as we pursue our goals, as we try to assert ourselves. And this trigger is meant to highlight what needs to be let go of, what needs to be transformed at a deep level. So as a collective, we'll be keeping our dreams and aspirations at the back of our minds with the sextile to Neptune. It's keeping us in touch with the imagination. So create with the Yod to Venus retrograde that might be happening more at an internal level because of the retrograde planets. while there is chaos happening outside due to previous efforts and attitudes. As the moon enters Aquarius, though, we'll find that detachment gets easier, and we start to apply logic to spiritual pursuits and consider how they help us fit into the collective at large. So on top of learning our identity and refining who we know ourselves to be, we're also looking for groups of people with the Aquarius moon, causes and such that align with that new sense of self. On the 1st, which is today, we have the full moon at 2:31, which is in about 30 minutes from now, Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be at 9 degrees in square Jupiter. Now that aspect's already coming in, so you'll likely feel it. We also have Mercury opposite Saturn through the end of the day tomorrow, and Mars trine Jupiter through the 3rd. So the full moon occurs, and we're looking to our friends and other groups that we belong to for confirmation or warnings about the growth process that Venus retrograde is teaching us. It's important during the 3 or 4 days while this transit is relevant, and potent, to remember that happiness is defined and manifested from within. You're not looking to your groups to fulfill you. You're not looking to your groups to heal you or make you happy. You're looking to your groups to reflect back the efforts that you've made to make yourself happy. Does this group align with who you know yourself to be? That's the question. Not how can I perform for this group? Who can I become for this group or to fit in? Those of us dealing with group dynamics might be especially tempted to perform for audiences, so that's something to keep in mind of. Venus in this state, though, won't be fulfilled with external approval alone. Venus retrograde is inward, it's internal. Most retrograde planets are subjective to the person that's experiencing the transit, and so it's not about what you're showing outside, it's about how you're experiencing yourself. Regardless of our attempts, though, to respond with logic, emotionalism and ego will be potent today because it's a full moon. While the Aquarius moon does have a tendency to intellectualize emotions, I think this one's definitely going to be felt pretty strongly because of the other aspects that are occurring. Mercury in Virgo is deep into its analysis of the routines, the work dynamics, and the health states, but drawing tension from a standoff with Saturn and Pisces. And it's asking us to clear up self-deception, to move deeper into practical application of beliefs. This is where, this opposition is showing us where we're not walking it like we talk it in an efficient and effective way, with Mars in Virgo and Saturn in the mix of addressing those imbalances so that we can get back on the path to the lifestyle that we choose for ourselves. Let's make sure we're not getting more efficient at wasting time, though, with the Pisces energy, and consider how we might align our spiritual aspirations with our daily activities in ways that really provide security internally and externally. So we're looking for internal security, and we're looking for material stability. Mars trine to Jupiter gives us a little help, but not only with strategizing ways out of the Piscean fog, but also with multiplying the results of our efforts. So, this is maximizing the results of our efforts. It's working efficiently so that we can get the most benefit possible. And of course, that's going to be reliant upon whether or not our efforts are pragmatic and our priorities are in order. So that's where we should be starting. On the 2nd, we have the moon square Uranus in Taurus. We then have the moon opposite Venus retrograde, and we have the moon sextiling the north node, and then at the very end of the day, about an hour before the 3rd, we have the moon entering Pisces. So the question is, are we still jumping to conclusions or nah? This is especially potent for the mutable signs, especially Sag and Virgo, cough, cough. But they might be right, though, so just because they don't have proof doesn't mean they're wrong. There's an urge to rebel from expectation, from restriction, from anything that places restriction on our thoughts or our pleasure or our efforts to seek comfort. Restlessness is through the roof with this transit. With Uranus in the mix, there's always an element of restlessness, and then with the moon in Aquarius, which is not, a comfortable spot for the moon to be in, there's going to be some urge to move. And this moon, of course, is ruled by Uranus. So the opposition to Venus is drawing intensity from others, and the result of the tension is that we might be motivated to comfort ourselves with excess with Venus in the mix. However, Mercury is still opposite Saturn as the day closes, and the moon will enter Pisces and approach a conjunction to Saturn. This is where we're going to be called back to task about our thoughts and how our emotions are supporting, hindering, or confusing our belief systems and the goals that we associate with those beliefs. Then on the 4th, we have the moon conjunct Saturn in Pisces. It's going to be opposing Mercury and Mars. As I was saying, what may appear at first to be a spontaneous idea is really just a continuation of the purge that initially occurred as Pluto was in Capricorn from 2008 to earlier this year. So this is a review with Pluto being retrograde so that we can clear up what's been left over. We're looking to go beyond established structures, and many might feel a need to act on the desire for change, release, or freedom. Just do be careful, because there's going to be intense consequences to your actions and choices on this day. Sensitivity to the undercurrents increases as the moon conjuncts Neptune right before leaving the sign and entering Aries, and we get in touch with the deeper implications of what we were imagining earlier in the day. When the moon does change signs, we'll be motivated to put that intuitive understanding into action. And then on the 5th, the only aspect we have is the moon in Aries trine the sun in Leo. And so this is where our feelings facilitate this this refining, this re-meeting, this expression of the self. So we might find it very easy today to speak our minds, to speak our hearts in ways that can be understood, in ways that can be accepted by others, for example. And so those are the weekly aspects. I hope that this resonated. Drop me a comment below and tell me how the transits are hitting you, even if it didn't resonate. I just want to know what you guys are going through. And I will see you again this week, Sunday. Happy full moon, guys.